As expected, Patrick Mahomes wins his second MVP award. He last won it in 2018, and he's now hoping to be the first MVP winner in the regular season, win a Super Bowl since Kurt Warner in 1999. And there's a graphic of all the awards winners. Justin Jefferson, who was the Offensive Player of the Year, also finished 5th in the MVP voting. This is the first year that all the voters voted for 5, not just 1. If it was 1, the only names we would have heard was Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen. Those were the 3 who got first-place votes. But there were 16 names in all. Jefferson was the highest non-quarterback on the list. So a nice little distinction for him.
Definitely is. I mean, we know how special he is, certainly. He deserved to be in that MVP conversation. I mean, again, most valuable player. Man, the Vikings aren't where they were without Justin Jefferson and the magic he created. You know, the other one, the one that I wasn't sure about the most out of that group right there. I think it went pretty much chalk for what I thought. The one I wasn't sure about was Offensive Rookie of the Year. That was one where I thought, well, I don't know. Brock Purdy, the way he played, that's who I voted for, Mike. You know, again, I know it wasn't a full season, but, you know, we discussed this a lot. It's the quarterback position. He took over a team that's good, yes, but he was a third-string quarterback, a rookie at that. And then to play the way he did and to lead his team to victories the way they did, or he did, I should say. Yeah, I thought Brock Purdy might have had a chance to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. That was the one I was like, ooh, I wonder who will win that one. I kind of felt like I knew all the other ones.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we had a strong sense of where it was all heading. Comeback Player of the Year with Geno Smith.
Yeah. It's a weird one.
Look,
I get it.
They are going to eventually have, I believe, a separate category for Most Improved Player and Comeback Player, because right now it's all in one bucket. And there's no definition. We voted this year. There was no pamphlet as to what you can and can't do. The only limitation was, and we talked about this with Brian Robinson, who'll hear it later in the program, I tried to put him on my ballot. You got 3 names that you can put on for Comeback Player of the Year, because he was shot in August. He was shot. Well, rookies aren't eligible for Comeback Player of the Year because they haven't played in the NFL yet. Well, I mean, come on. It makes no sense, because comeback is comeback, and there's otherwise no instruction. What are you coming back from? And you know, we've seen this before. Matthew Stafford, when he was Comeback Player of the Year in 2011, it was his 3rd season. What's he coming back from? He just had his first good year. He had a breakout year. He was Most Improved Player.
I got you.
Geno Smith, Most Improved Player. That's why I think Christian McCaffrey should have been the Comeback Player. He came back from a couple of years with significant injuries, and he went to San Francisco, and he was awesome from the get-go.
He was.
And you could also make the argument, who else out there that had a torn ACL last year that came back this year?
Saquon is up there.
Saquon Barkley is one who could have been a Comeback Player. So I think they do need to have another category. Comeback Player, Most Improved Player. But Geno Smith, Comeback Player this year.
And I got no problem with it.
He's better than he'd ever been. He's not coming back to anything.
Well,
he was better than he'd ever been.
He's coming back from the dead. I think that's, you know, he's coming back from the dead a little bit. But I understand there. You're right. There's some distinction there that I think deserves a little conversation and maybe iron that out a little bit. But at the end of the day, for the way it is right now, I am happy to see him get it. You know, we talked about, you know, it's a guy that I think in a lot of ways kind of got an early career unfair shake. Okay, did maybe an immature thing in the locker room and went up to the biggest, toughest guy and said, give me, you know, my effing money or whatever, right? And okay, that got him punched in the face. He got kind of put, you know, in a bad spot publicly, perception-wise, everything, and never got the opportunities and became like, oh, Geno Smith, oh, gosh, oh, he was the Giants, he was the Jets, it wasn't good. And, you know, either way, I'm happy for him is what I'm going to say. He deserves some recognition for that story from where he was to what he did this year and what we heard from Tyler Lockett yesterday and all of that. It's pretty awesome. So good for Geno Smith, I will say that.
Brian Daboll, Coach of the Year, the first season with the New York Giants. And Coach of the Year, say this all the time, there's no real formula for it. It's just kind of a loose understanding of what the expectations were for a team going in and where they end up. That's why the best coaches never win it unless they do something ridiculous like undefeated Bill Belichick in 2007, because we just assume every year their teams are going to be good. We assume they're going to be in the playoffs. When you take a Giants team that felt like it had nothing and didn't have enough of an opportunity to really turn it around, and he takes them to the playoffs in a tough division where you've got the Eagles and the Cowboys, that is what gets Brian Daboll the nod.
I'm happy to see him get it. I mean, I think he is really deserving. I mean, how could he not be? I mean, all the things you said, and then also turned around the career of Daniel Jones, which I think is also part of the reason why he wins this. But yeah, we thought they had no chance to get where they eventually got to. And even when things were good and the record was positive, I mean, the Giants are one of those teams, a little bit like the Vikings, where you're just like, I don't really know how they're doing this. They're not that talented, but it was the coaching. The quarterback whisperer, Brian Daboll, him and Mike Kafka running an offense that was exactly right for what they had, and they didn't try to do too much and risk, losing the game with a dumb play or dumb turnovers. Defense played really good, and it was the same story there. I mean, the hiring of Wink Martindale as D coordinator, it's a bunch of guys that, some good players on the defense, but certainly no superstars. Brian Daboll, very deserving. I wonder how close that one was between him, Doug Peterson.
Kyle
Shanahan's another one that I think should have been right up there in the combo. I wonder how close that was. I haven't heard that one.
I came close to making Kyle number one.
Right.
I went Brian Daboll, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McDermott.
Right.
Because I think McDermott did a masterful job dealing with very high expectations that I think were crippling early in the year. It was just too much.
Right.
And they worked through so much adversity, start to finish, culminating in the Damar Hamlin situation on January 2nd, that I thought McDermott deserved some consideration. But this was a tough year. There were so many coaches
there was a lot of
that
deserving
you could put
ones.
on that
Right.
three-person ballot.
Yeah, agreed. And full transparency, I picked Shanahan first. I went Shanahan, Brian Daboll, Doug Peterson in my voting. That's how I kind of played it out. I just thought Shanahan, with some of the curveballs he was throwing and things like that, and the way they won with a third-string quarterback was just very impressive. But either way, all were deserving. It was really cool to see.
Offensive Rookie of the Year was Garrett Wilson. Defensive Rookie of the Year was Sauce Gardner. That's not a surprise.
Not
Sauce
at
Gardner.
all.
Although Aiden Hutchinson, who's going to join us later, isn't that weird? The NFL at some point made its official awards the AP awards. And they started the honors show like 2011 in Indianapolis.
Right.
I think that was the first year. So the NFL doesn't have an MVP. It's the AP MVP. The NFL doesn't have Offensive Player of the Year. It's the AP. But the NFL has a global Rookie of the Year.
Right.
And Aiden Hutchinson won it.
Yes.
But the official NFL awards, offensive and defensive, it's Sauce Gardner on defense and Garrett Wilson on offense. There's a weird disconnect.
Did he get honored last night, Aiden Hutchinson? I didn't watch the whole show.
I don't know if he
so
did or didn't, but yesterday it was a big deal, and he had the trophy.
Yeah.
And Pepsi sponsors it,
Right.
but it's the NFL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
So there's a Rookie of the Year.
That's the more prestigious one. It's like MVP or Offensive Player, Defensive
You're the
Player.
overall Rookie of the Year,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a strange
Right.
disconnect, and of course it's sponsored, so the NFL's not going to just rip it up and throw it away. So that's just kind of the way it is. The other thing that I liked from last night,
Right.
the rushing title every year is
way to
named for
go.
Jim Brown.
Yes.
Because we've been talking about the upper room to the Hall of Fame, and
Right.
obviously the first running back into that upper room would be Jim Brown.
Right.
So, and I hope they do it with other, sacks.
Lawrence Taylor
Lawrence
Award
Taylor,
or
right.
Reggie White,
Even though he
whatever.
didn't have the record or whatever.
Right.
Lawrence Taylor
Right.
would be the guy that you
Right.
name the sacks record
Right.
for. And yeah, or Reggie White. Well, that's true. Good luck.
Reggie might
Good
have
luck
to go
picking
there.
one. Yeah,
That's a tough one, right? But receiving, Jerry Rice,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm with you. I mean, we're seeing that happen in other sports, right? They're
Different,
giving the NBA. I think they're giving the MVP award. They're calling it the Michael Jordan Award
and if
now.
you really wanted to do it, you
Right.
could do most passing yards,
You
most
could.
touchdowns.
Right. The Marino
The
Award.
Brett Favre Award for the most interceptions.
That's what you want. Right. Yeah. No, so, I mean, I think there is something to that. And I think it's another great way to pay homage
If you're not
to
going
the
to have
great
an upper
stars
room,
of the
if you're not going to have an
sports
upper room, you do that.
Yeah.
Start naming stuff for the all-time greats.
Yeah, I like that. So I'm with you there,
I heard,
Mike. Nice
I don't want to
addition.
get off topic, but I heard Peter talking to Deion Sanders about this yesterday,
Yeah.
and we played some of Sanders' stuff. The idea, what do you do about the guys that played in the 30s, 40s, and 50s? Well, there's a certain point where you say, you know what, football wasn't what it is back then, and it's great to remember those who came before.
Right.
But everything, kind of like in my mind, everything before the Colts-Giants championship game that
Right.
really caused the NFL to take
start
off.
going
That's all
global,
prologue.
big country, right.
And then you get into
Right.
the 70s when it really took off. Monday Night Football took over baseball. It's the modern era, the Super Bowl era. I think it's fair to go Super Bowl era.
I hear you.
Or at the latest, post-merger. And yes, all those other people had very real value to the sport. But 50 years since the merger, I think that's fair to characterize all-time great. But that's a conversation for the offseason, and we're going to push it. We're going to push it. I'm going to keep pressing and pressing and pressing it to try to get something like that done. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.